Now, at the bottom of the deck, we have the balance card. The keynotes at the bottom here are a need for balance and moderation, cooperation and compromise, and waiting for perfect timing. This card corresponds with the Temperance card in other decks, and Temperance is about peaceful waiting. It's that idea of you've done the steps that you can, and now it's about waiting for the parts that you don't control to come together behind the scenes. We're reminded with the angel in the center of the card here that a lot of it really is about divine timing. That there are guides, angels and the like behind the scenes that are helping to bring all the parts of the machine together. The ones that you see and the ones that you don't see. It's sort of like, imagine you're planting seeds in a garden. You know, you've done the work, you've removed the stones, you have removed the weeds, maybe put on a fresh layer of topsoil, turned everything over. You plant those seeds, you water. You know, there's always that activity underneath the surface that you can't see before the sprouts start coming up underneath the surface or through the surface where you can actually see them. This is that same kind of idea. But also be careful that you're taking care of yourself. A holiday season can be very, very stressful for people. You know, as Virgos, sometimes there can be perfectionism. That can be with any person, though. You don't have to be a Virgo to experience that. But just remember, you're going to want to take care of your own self as well. You'll have more to give to others if you've taken the time to care for yourself first. It's sort of like a healthy tree produces the best fruit. So if you're trying to produce fruit of a sort for your family this holiday season, you're going to want to be sure that your house is in order. That I'm mixing my metaphors here. You're going to want to make sure that the tree of yourself is in order and well cared for. Oh, okay. Queen of Earth. Queen of Earth. Now, this is yourself, the Virgo. This could be Taurus or Capricorn. This feels like you kind of rocking in your groove this holiday season, right? This is somebody who's balanced, who's focused, who is positive. If you're a younger person, this could be a mother figure, possibly a supervisor or a boss, maybe somebody at home. If you identify yourself as a queen or a king energy, this could very well be you, or it could be somebody you relate to kind of as a peer, or somebody that you have great respect for, somebody who's able to take ideas and passions and so on and manifest them in a meaningful way. This is somebody who's organized and looks at details. Again, be very careful that you're taking time for yourself, that we don't see this in the reverse. Other decks deal with reversals, so that's always kind of on my mind. But in order to get the busy work done, making the lists, and I may be preaching to the choir here, you always want to be sure that you're staying grounded, right? Staying focused, one thing at a time, make that list, delegate. That's part of how you're going to maintain balance. You won't have time for your hot bubble bath or whatever brings you joy, your long walk in the woods, if you don't allow yourself, or if you don't delegate to other people so that you can make that kind of time in spite of the crush of the holiday season and getting things done. But this card does, it does reflect a mastery over that earth environment that the Queen of Earth has. So if this card is representing you or your situation, it looks like you kind of got it going on here, right? You got it going on. Now this energy that's coming into play could be here now. This is about gifts, gift giving. This is about balance with other people. You may have a helpful partner. I hope so. If not, be sure that you're managing your resources to the best of your ability. Again, you know, you've got teenage kids. They can be helping you with some of the holiday baking or with some of the whatever. You got friends and family members and things like that that are interested. They can do their part too, to the extent that they're capable, right? But this is also about possibly money coming into you, like receiving that loan, paying off debts. It could be a new career opportunity, but it could be gifts given and gifts received. Don't overdo it, though, this holiday season. Don't overdo it. Now, some of you guys have been going through a great deal. This is kind of what's on your mind, and what we may see coming is the end of your suffering. You've been going through some emotional hurt, some trying times, sleepless nights. This is what you're hoping for, this 10 of air here. What you're aiming for, that you really want this thing that you've been experiencing to move into your past tense. You really want it to be done. And most likely it will. It may take time though, because, these energies here are also surrounded by earth energy, and earth energy can be very slow moving. It's stable, yes, but it's also slow moving. It's like watching a tree grow. The tree is deeply rooted. It is stable, but yet it's going to take forever for that smallish tree to get to be a very large one. But then again, 10 years down the line, you're looking at the pictures, it looks great. Now, I just threw that out there. I don't mean that I'm getting some impulse that's going to take you 10 years to resolve whatever this 9 of air pain is for you. Be careful you're not contributing to your own suffering more than you absolutely would be experiencing in this case, based on things beyond your control, however. And what I mean by that is allow yourself to be imperfect this holiday season. If you struggle with perfectionism, let it go. It's okay if that's not done or the rules are burned on the bottom. It doesn't matter. In 10 years' time, nobody's going to be talking about those damn roles. They're going to be talking about the love that you gave, the quality time, the laughs with friends and family, the fun. Some of you may be experiencing anxiety for other reasons, right? For other reasons. What those are, not really sure. You may be coming to the end of something. Something may be ending for you. Maybe you have been experiencing some kind of a job situation. But if so, remember, this 6 of earth energy that's coming in has to do with new career opportunities. So if you've been going through a struggle at your current place of employment, know that very well may be changing for you. Perhaps this Queen of Air is a new manager at your new job who likes you in your interview. There is a movement that can come here. So whatever this is, it does not have to define your life. It certainly won't. But getting through that will be one of the things that you later on feel proud of yourself for. Now, in the recent past, we have the Sun card, which is the happiest card in the deck. Now, given the 9 of air, the 10 of air, I'm questioning what that might be about. Right? How did you move from the Sun energy into the 9 of air and the sleepless nights? Some kind of celebration? Perhaps this could be a timeline. The Sun is associated with Leo. Leo ended somewhere around the 21st, 22nd of August. These spreads tend to be about 3 months. About 6 weeks on either side of the Queen of Earth, 6 of Earth's energy, 9 of air. The cards that we've done so far. So this could be up to 6 weeks even in the reverse. For some of you, you're still currently in that energy. You're experiencing some great deal of joy there. It feels like for a lot of you, it's that you have some kind of worry in an area of your life, but overall, positivity's happening for you. Positivity's happening. I do question if this had to do with the sign of Leo and then the Queen of Earth was the sign of Virgo, meaning somewhere in summer until early, late summer, early fall, during the time of the Virgo, somewhere around your birthday, you were having a transition in some kind of an energy, something having to do with your employment and the need to change employment. Something got uncomfortable or has gotten very uncomfortable for you. You're seeking your options. You feel like there's some kind of a need to be moving on from whatever it was that you were doing. I'm feeling some of you are cutting something, like leaving something in the past tense, because you're seeking to be in that Sun energy again. Some of you will be experiencing a greater level of pain than others, but, tough to say. Now, 6 of Earths, too, can indicate, again, this doesn't really do reversals in here as far as explanations or whatever. Actually, that's not 100% true, but say in a reverse position, this could be about you're giving so much and other people are draining you. And maybe that's why you've been experiencing of angst, that you have needed to move on from that energy. Be careful that you're setting boundaries, too, with the people that you need to do. Be careful you're setting boundaries with the people you need to set boundaries with. Delegating responsibilities. Allowing others to pull their freight. People build their own self-esteem that way. Kids might grumble because you ask them to do chores, but there's a level of competency when they get to the point where they're doing the chore well. and they see themselves improving in that, especially if you come behind and you praise them for the things that they've done right, even if it might not be to your perfection standards. Of course, there's teachable moments in those too. Anyway, we have here the Knight of Earth, slow moving energy, but this is about doing the work that you need to do to move forward to the next levels. So again, if you've been thinking about changing your job because something has become uncomfortable in that experience for you, this is about doing the work to make it happen. This is about filling out the applications, making the phone calls, sending the emails, updating your resume. If you're moving in a house, this is about meeting with the real estate agent or looking at the listings or getting a sense of what you can afford to borrow from a mortgage lender. That kind of stuff. This is really about that sort of thing. Now, this possibly could be a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn coming in as well. Somebody who has knowledge and is learning how to apply that to develop skill. But sometimes this card can indicate too, say in a new couple, like when they're moving in together, or they're kind of building a home together, that kind of energy, somebody moving in. It can also indicate that kind of a thing. So take it as it resonates. I'm curious about that 9 of Air stress and what really that is for you. But I do feel like there's something that you guys have been cutting out. Now, the card representing you is the Star card, and this can be associated with Aquarius, the sign of Aquarius. Note that the Sun in your recent past and you, the Star, this seems like you're still maintaining hope in spite of your stress. You still feel like things can get better for you. And that's why you're about to be on this journey, doing your jots and tittles, filling out your forms, doing your paperwork, your busy work, which fortunately for you, you excel at it, because you do tend to be more grounded in that area than other people. If you're not, again, make lists one thing at a time, take deep breaths, walk barefoot it's kind of cold out right now, depending on where you live. But, walk barefoot across the carpet, that kind of stuff. Saltwater baths. But this Star is about hope. It's about following heavenly guidance for your life. Note that the Sun is a star. It's just the star that is the closest to the Earth. So you've been from here, and I feel like your perspective has changed. Like, you had this idea, this opportunity, this really positive experience in your recent past, or you may still be in this energy somewhat. Because clearly this card is representing you. Something's going on here. This may be you able to see the Sun from the higher perspective and get a better sense of where your direction is going to take you. And that could be why you're moving on with this Knight of Earth and you're taking the action steps to make what you want happen. Now, in your environment, you have been leaving something behind. This is the desire to move on here, the 8 of Water. Something you've invested in emotionally, you're leaving it behind you and swimming on. This is, you can see the mermaid or merman or whatever it is. But this is you searching for meaning, you having hope, you following the star to your destination. The star's highly symbolic of navigation. Before we had the modern day compass, sailors and travelers used to look at the stars and the time of the year to determine their course to get to their destination. And that was the best way to do it. They knew when certain berries and things were in season, when the leaves on the trees were in certain season, they knew which way to go. They knew which stars were in which direction and how to find their way. Google Map has spoiled the hell out of us, I'll say what. But at the same time, you're moving on from something that doesn't benefit you any longer, and you're holding on to your hope. And know that you are guided behind the scenes as well. Kind of like we mentioned before with the Balance card, the Temperance. This angel's helping you find your way. And note that in both these cards, there's 2 cups. This cup, the angel's pouring from one cup into the other. The person's draining out the cup. Not because there's nothing of benefit in that, but it's about the heavens pouring out to you. There's an outpouring from the heavens in your direction to help you. And you get to hold, maybe you just can't see it because the picture didn't include it, but you're holding out your cup to receive what they're offering you and having all the faith in the world that this is going to happen and can. Very positive energy. In the hopes and fears is this Knight of Water. Falling in love or wedding proposals, the need to balance emotions, invitation to a social event. Maybe you're hoping for some kind of new love. Maybe you had to leave someone behind you. And maybe we've got some kind of earth sign coming in for you. Earth signs tend to do well with other earth signs if they're not both so stubborn they can't agree on anything. But having a grounded person, not having somebody who's kind of flaky, would be excellent. Now, for some of you, this could be Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn coming in. Could be Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Now, again, this is in the hopes and fears. Maybe some of you are leaving some situation. You've had romance that has not worked out for you, and this is why you're fearing this Knight of Water. But some new beginning, something that you can build on. This is a firm foundation that is going to be built on that could be coming for you. But there is reserve. I almost said that funny. Reserve, reservation, whatever. The Nine of Fire is wounded warrior energy. It's about protection. But it's also about having the courage. Now, this star sign, I didn't mention this before. I really ought. The star sign here has a great deal to do with, as well, soulmate relationships. Like if you've prayed, if you've wished upon that star, and you're waiting to find that person who's going to balance you, be open to it when it comes. It's okay to be guarded and to seek new information. You know, it's only in our modern times that we don't really. I don't want to say that people always do this because they really don't. You know, a lot of people don't. But we move so fast in relationships. All right. Now, I'm a therapist, and one of the things I see is that someone is physically attracted to another person, they go to bed together, and then they try to build a relationship around that. Sex releases dopamine, and dopamine is the same chemical in the brain that's released when people take a hit of dope. Or when they smoke I want to say doobie. That's such an ancient word. That's even old for my day. But, you know, when they smoke weed or when they drink too much alcohol, you know, there's a lot of dopamine in that. But dopamine is not a basis of a relationship. You know, usually after 6 months in a relationship, the dopamine's depleted, and then you start to build a whole different experience. Like the brain, love, like the kind of partner love is, we experience that in different areas of the brain than we do the initial attraction and sexual behavior with a mate. It's okay to use this guarded feeling that you're going to be feeling when this Knight of Earth energy comes in. It's okay to feel guarded because you have been hurt. You do want to be done with the hurt. You want to move on to your promised day. It will come in divine timing. But I guess the point I'm making before I started babbling and getting off was it's okay to take your time to get to know somebody, to know who they are, to know if they walk the walk that they're talking. You know, there's a lot of people out there trying to sell you a bunch of goods, and they're hoping that you're going to fill the empty hole smack in the center of their chest. You don't have to fill that for someone. It's their job to fill it. Just like it's your job to fill your hole in your chest. That's every person's job. There's no happiness in another. You can experience happiness and love in loving another person, but that's almost, I want to say that's incidental. But you're more likely to do that if you take your time to get to know somebody. Be open to meeting people, but be careful in making a choice. Again, you don't have to go by, sexual mores. You don't have to do that. You can be as old-fashioned. You can court somebody as long as you want. You can be friends for a while first, to figure out whether or not they've got the similar values that you have. Make sure that they're kind. Are they the kind of person who pays their bills on time or has the same financial ethics that you do? Or is their money a mess? Are they a loving person? Are they neat? Are they a slob? Are they, you can get to know that. Nobody's going to be perfect. That's true. And nobody's going to be 100% perfect fit for you. We grow in our relationships with other people. But I really do feel like if you give it patience, get to know people, don't jump into anything too fast. Make this 9 of Fire energy work for you. You're going to be led to the right person for you. If this is job related, you're going to be led to the right job for you. Being guarded, going to an interview, Write your questions down before you go. Ask lots of questions. You're interviewing them. You want to make sure that their company's a right fit for you. Because bosses are only human beings too, and you're going to have to work with them, whether they're fair or people of integrity or not. So you're allowed to ask questions and to determine, hold that faith. The Star card is just such a profoundly beautiful card. And that really does speak to this faith right here that the Nine of Fire would speak to.